Hi, everyone. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in to another episode with me. Today, we are going to be talking about being honest. Now, the full title of this coming series is called Let's Be Honest. All right. And I want to dive into four different types of ways in which God has helped me to be more honest with Him and also be honest with myself. And so we're going to go ahead and get into those just briefly. So, this new series is all about heart check. It's me being real with the things that God has brought to my attention throughout my life that He had to show me about myself before He could take me where He wanted me to go. You see, I had to be honest, not with people, not with social media, but with myself and with God. You can't heal what you won't reveal, and you can't move forward if you're still lying to yourself about what's really holding you back. When I was trying to think of a new series that we can talk about, God shared with me through a devotional that I am currently reading on the Bible app. And I'll go ahead and share that down in the description box below. It was by Pastor Craig Rochelle, who pastors Life Church, and this devotional that really had me where I was like, okay, Pastor Craig, I got to steal this, right? I got to try to make my own version of it because it's so true, and it's so raw, and it helps you to think. It made me think, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that will allow me. Let me just be very transparent right now. That will allow me more to open up to people in a way that I feel like I've done here and there. But for this entire series, I want to be able to do that. Before, I've given you guys information and steps, which this series will provide you with steps as well. But to have it where you have vulnerability as well as tangible steps to use, tools to help you in moving forward and how to move forward with what God has in store for you, but understanding though that you do have to have a better heart posture, right? You do have to look at your heart, look within first, because God even says in His Word that man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. And so it is so important that we take a deep dive within ourselves, within our heart, to truly understand what we're feeling or how we're feeling in this moment, or how we've been feeling throughout a few weeks or few months or years, because it's important. The reason why we're going through the things that we're going through, or the reason why we haven't been able to walk through the certain doors that we've been praying for or been waiting on, or the reason why we have been stuck is because of our heart posture. So I want to go first and share what God has actually brought me through, and what some of the things that I continue to work on. I've come a mighty long way, but I've understood also that there are some things that will continue to stay with you. But you just have to understand and learn really how to manage it correctly. So today I want to walk with you guys through vulnerability, self sabotage, perfectionism, and forgiveness. Forgiveness is the bonus one that I will be sharing with you guys throughout this series. Now, starting with vulnerability. This is a true hard one for me. And I think you can raise your hand and put like a raised hand emoji in the comments if this one hits you. Whichever one really resonates with you, go ahead and put 1, 2, 3, or 4, and that will let me know. 1 for vulnerability, 2 for self-sabotage, 3 for perfectionism, or 4 for forgiveness. All right. Vulnerability, this one hit hard, of course, because I've always struggled with being vulnerable, not because I wanted to hide, but because I've been hurt before in trying to share my feelings. When I was younger, it was difficult for me to share my feelings because first and foremost is to me, for my life, it was difficult for me to share as an only child. And because I don't have anyone else to talk to, even though I was the only child, I grew up with my cousins. So anytime that my grandmother would go over her sister's house, I was always like around my cousins. So we basically grew up together. And because I'm the only child, I would more so gravitate towards adults. I tried that out, and it was cut short very quickly. In that moment, I realized and understood who I was trying to be vulnerable with and what I was trying to be vulnerable with in that moment. It crushed me, um, because I felt as though now I have to retract. Now I have to go back into my little bubble. Now I have to keep everything inside and learn how to push it down and understand that I cannot share nor can I trust anyone with any information because they, one, would not understand where I'm coming from, and two, because they don't know how to keep it to themselves. Um, and it wasn't just that, it was more so that, like, it was part of it was like keeping it to themselves, and then the other part was that I shared something and they took it as they weren't really helpful. They took it as, oh, you're coming to me, you're opening up to me. And I had a lot of judgment that was going on as well. So it really just backed me up in a corner where I had to just kind of like turn around, face the wall, and just talk to that wall, basically. That was my life. It was just like, okay, I can't trust you anymore. I see where this is going to go. Um, because you're not because what they were doing was they weren't focusing on me, they were more so focusing on the fact that I was actually sharing something with them instead of trying to help me understand, um, or give me advice on what I was feeling, what I was going through in that very moment. And so because they didn't do that, then I was like, okay, I have to retract, I have to go back to just keeping things to myself, and that's what I did. And when I got older, I learned how to talk to God, but it took me a while with that as well. I believe he gave me the ability to be able to start writing down my emotions, start writing down my day so that I can learn how to talk to him on a daily basis. I would write it out, I would journal my day and let him know all that happens in my day. Because one, I didn't know how to pray. And I didn't know my own way of being able to pray to him because what I saw growing up was we went to church every Sunday, and then it got to a point when I got older where we did not. Sometimes Sunday school, but it wasn't where the only time that we had prayer was when we were praying over our food. I didn't know what prayer looked like to and how to go to God and talk to him about it. I really didn't understand when I was younger what the grown-ups were talking about in church, what the pastor was really saying. I couldn't relate all the different things, right, that we go through. Whatever stage you may be at, whatever age you may be, we all go through it. And so that's something that God really had to help me with. He taught me how to be vulnerable, honestly, with him, um, throughout my life. And that helped me and developed me to a point and made me comfortable enough where I can now extend that back to that person, after years of praying. Let me say that after years of praying, leaving it up to the Lord and waiting on the timing, right? Waiting on the right time where we could then have that conversation and I could let them know, be vulnerable and let them know how I was feeling, what I was going through so that they'll understand. And so in that, God reminded me that vulnerability is not weakness, it's worship. And it's saying, God, I trust you with what I can't fix. Now, with self sabotage, I didn't realize this for the longest time that I was doing this. I don't even know how I even got to this point in my life where I was self sabotage. And self sabotage is basically when you know God is blessing you with things, with opportunities, with people coming into your life, relationships, with so much, right? And but you feel as though you're not worthy to have it. You haven't done enough to receive it. um, you feel like you're less than. You feel like a person can do better, or this belongs to somebody much better than you are. And so you do things to make it where you basically sabotage the situation. You do things where you're like, oh, this can't be for me. Let me go ahead and botch this. Let me go ahead and say some things that I wouldn't normally say. Let me go ahead and make this person want to get out of my life because I don't feel worthy enough. They're too good for me. They deserve better. They deserve more. And I can't give them that. Or it comes out of fear. Self sabotage comes out of fear. I, for the longest time, didn't know that I was self sabotaging. I also, for the longest time, didn't know how to go to God about it in a way where I could ask the right question until I asked God just last year, how can I stop this? What is this that I'm going through? How can I get through this? Because it's messing up my life. I keep tearing down every relationship. I keep tearing down every opportunity that you give me, and this is absolutely ridiculous. Um, so what can I do? And so at that time, he gave me a book, and I shared this with you guys before, but this is a book that I will go ahead and put in the description box. I don't know, maybe you're going through this too. You say that you're waiting on God, but really God's waiting on you to stop getting in your own way. Self sabotage doesn't always look like quitting. Sometimes it looks like procrastination, it looks like fear, it looks like overthinking or doubting yourself out of your own miracles. So here's the hard truth that I had to learn. When you start seeing yourself the way that God sees you, you'll stop tripping over what He's already forgiven you for. Y'all, this is the hardest of the hardest for me. And this is one, let me just be clear, be very open, transparent at this moment. Perfectionism is, for the most part, something that I have gotten through, but it's taken years. And it's one where I'm like, okay, this is something that I'm going to be dealing with for the rest of my life. But now I know how to make sure that it doesn't take over my life. Now I know how to manage it. Now I know how to tame the beast. And I want to help you guys be able to tame your beast, whether it's perfectionism, vulnerability, self sabotage, forgiveness, whatever it may be. I want to help you to be able to tame the beast that you're facing on a daily basis. So, what I learned with perfectionism is that it has a twin. Y'all, the twin is depression. For me, and I don't know if it's for you, if you've actually gone through this, you can let me know. But for me, perfectionism, when I get to a point, when I get very down on myself, it gets to a point where I get depressed, or I feel like I want to go into depression mode, depressive state, because I have been so hard on myself that now I don't know how to get through it. I don't know how to get out of it. And so now I have to take deep breaths. So I have to take my mind off of it completely. I have to talk to God about it, about a situation, all the things. I have to get into go into the Bible app and start reading a devotional that can help me with what I am going through in that very moment. I now have friends that I communicate with, I talk to whenever I'm going through something, and not just whenever I'm going through something. We talk on it on all the time to make sure that we're staying up to date with each other's lives. But I know that I can always lean on them. I know that I can trust them because at this point they've seen my vulnerable side. So I know that they won't take my words and just leave them there. They will help me through it. And that's so important to make sure. Side note, make sure that you have someone. This is something that we just talked about, a series that we just finished with, leaning on others. It's so important to make sure that you have someone who will support you in your corner. If you do not at this time and you are struggling to find someone, that is okay. I've been there. Do not force it. I would say take it to the Lord, pray about it. Pray and ask him the type of person that you're looking for to help you with situations that you're going through, to be there for you and that you can be there for them. And God will bless you with that right person at the right time. But let me just tell you, don't force it, because it makes things much harder and it takes things a little bit longer. Leave it in his hands. Don't take it out of his hands. Leave it in his hands so he can help you with it. All right. So back to the regular scheduled programming. My thing is that I'm kind of type A, just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm like A minus, even A or A minus. Okay. Um, but my thing is when I can't meet impossible tasks that I've set for myself, then I spiral. I feel like if I put it out there, then I should be able to achieve it. It can be something so simple to other people, or it can be something that other people wouldn't even think about, right? But for me, it's something where I'm like, oh, I should have done this differently. I should have done that differently. For me, is making sure that, like, something that I pray about each and every day. Lord, help me to cross every T, dot every I, be on my P's and Q's. Help me to be aware of my surroundings and analyze situations and look at the details, pay attention to the details. That's those are the things that I pray to God each and every day. And I ask for him to help me, because what I've realized is that I can't do it on my own. And that's why I kept falling short each and every time, because each and every time I was trying to do it by myself. We are not perfect beings. We are not. We will always fall short. Even in the word, it says we will fall short of the glory of God each and every day, because we are not perfect. There was only one perfect human, and that was Jesus Christ. Other than him, we fall short each and every day. We will sin each and every day. It's a part of our human nature. But as long as we go to God with our sin, as long as we repent, as long as we bring it to him and we make sure that we don't do it again, that we don't make the same mistake twice, and that we pray and we ask him to help us with it. That's the thing. We have to ask him to help us with it, because see, he's there all along. He sees us struggling, and sometimes he helps us because he's like, let me just go ahead and help out my child. But there are other times where he wants us to ask him, to invite him in. God is a gentleman. He is not going to force himself on you, to force himself in your life to help you through things. He would love for you to invite him in. In Revelation 3:20, it says, I stand at the door and knock. If you invite me in, I will come and sup with you. I will break bread with you. God is waiting for you to allow him to come in to your life, into your heart, into your mind, into your soul, to make you new, to transform you, to be a new creation. That's one thing. And then with that, as that is developed each and every day, you have this opportunity to bring him into each and every area, nook and cranny of your life. Here's what perfectionism does: it robs you of peace because it convinces you that progress isn't enough. But the truth is, every step forward, even the small ones, still count. You don't need to have it all together to be used by God. You just need to be willing. So if you're struggling with this too, I want you to take a deep breath right now, blow it out, and remind yourself God's not grading your performance, He's shaping your heart. Forgiveness, this one's personal for me. A long time ago, I had a conversation with God about my dad. He wasn't in my life. He's still not in my life the way I hoped he would be. And for a long time, unknowingly, I carried that silently. Didn't even know it. But that was something that I carried with. There was a time where he was in my life. There was a time when he was out of my life around 10. Later on, when I got older and I was in college, towards the end of my time in college, he came back into my life. That was very short lived. That was only for probably a few weeks. And that was basically it. Basically, I was willing to do the work, he wasn't. There was this unsettling that I had in my life that I didn't know was there. And until God brought it to my attention and he said, you need to forgive him, because I was going through something. I was actually getting ready. I saw that God was actually going to do something in my life. He wanted me to move forward, and he was opening up the door for me to go ahead and walk through. And I saw that door. I saw that opportunity. I saw what it was that he was going to do, and I knew that it was from him. But he told me that before you can walk through this door, you need to forgive your dad. And I said, say what? He said, you're not going to walk through this door until you forgive him. Because what I'm getting ready to have you to go to next requires maturity. And until you forgive him, because where I'm taking you is to the next level, you can't make it to the next level if you can't forgive him. And I said, okay, Lord. I said, all right. So I went ahead and I forgave him. I had the conversation with the Lord and I forgave him in that moment. And I genuinely forgave him and I let it go, and I felt a release from me, from my shoulders. And in that moment, God told me that you don't have to worry about him being your father, because I am your father. I will take care of you. That is the moment where I probably broke down for the first time about this man, because it wasn't about him. It was never about him. It was so much more than a relationship with him in a way that I didn't even know. But God helped me through that. And now I thought, just, I don't know, maybe a few months ago, I was thinking, man, if I had the opportunity to have a conversation with him again, if I had the opportunity for him to be in my life again, would I allow him back in? And I said, absolutely, without a shadow of doubt, without hesitation. See, that's where forgiveness would take you. It takes you to maturity. It takes you to a heart that is more pure, that is more sound, because your heart now is molded to be more like Christ's heart. So I was able to forgive him. I was able to move forward. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't mind him being in my life. I would enjoy him being in my life with no repercussions, with no hurdles he would have to go over. I would genuinely invite him back into my life without question because of the heart posture, because of the care and the fix that God made with my heart allowed me to be able to be in this position now where I can say that without hesitation and mean it. In that moment, also, what God shared with me is that it wasn't about him. It was for me to forgive him. It was for me to forgive him so that I can move forward in freedom. Because as long as I hold on to unforgiveness, I am holding on to a cold heart, a broken heart. And my heart would be in chains. But when I let go and I let God be in control and I let him be my true father, it brought understanding, it brought peace, and it brought freedom. I was not doing it for him, I was doing it for me. I was doing it for me. And that's what you have to look at it as well. Whatever your situation may be, whatever you may be going through, and you feel like you can't forgive this person, do it. I want you to do it right now. Genuinely forgive that person because that person is sleeping good at night while you're still up and harboring what it is that you were not wanting to forgive them for. You're the one that is in bondage while they walk around free. Now, what does that look like? This is your opportunity to go ahead and be free from the bondage of unforgiveness. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Allow God to deliver you from that bondage. So, as we begin this Let's Be Honest journey together, I want to ask you a few questions. What's keeping you from moving forward? Is it fear of being vulnerable? Are you self sabotaging opportunities? Is perfectionism stopping you from having peace? Or is there still someone you need to forgive? Maybe even yourself. Because guess what? I've had to do that as well. I was in bondage for something, for moving forward in the direction that God wanted me to go once again. And what was holding me back unknowingly until I watched a YouTube video with Anthony O'Neill and Pastor Tim Ross. When Anthony O'Neill became vulnerable with Pastor Tim, and in that moment, Pastor Tim told him to forgive himself from what he's been holding on to. All that he was going through, he never forgave himself for it. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I was praying and asking the Lord, what can I do? Why am I still feeling this way? And God told me, God shared that video with me, and that was my answer. And in that very moment, I forgave myself. I broke down in tears and I was like, Janelle, I forgive you. I love you and I forgive you. And that very moment, once again, I broke free. Each and every time, you see, each and every time that you go through something, you have to break free from it. When unforgiveness is in your heart for each and every situation that you go through, each and every hurt, each and every trial that you go through, you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive that person. You have to learn how to move forward the right way. You have to learn how to move forward in the right way, God's way, in the way that He wants to help you to mend that broken piece, to mend your broken heart. You have to be willing and open and honest with Him to be able to do so. And be honest with yourself because that's where healing is. That's where healing starts. That will help you propel to the next level like you've never done before. Honesty doesn't distance you from God, it draws you closer to Him. I want to bring two scriptures to you, and we're going to go ahead and close. I want you to look at Psalm chapter 139, verse 23 through 24. And it says, Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offense way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. John chapter 8, verse 32 says this. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Listen, y'all, thank you so very much for being here with me. Thank you so very much for tuning in to this message. I hope and pray that you receive something from this message. I hope and pray that you be vulnerable, be open to what God is sharing with you, what He wants to tell you about your heart, and knowing that you have to start there before you can start anywhere else. Before you can clean up anything else, you got to clean up yourself. You got to clean up your heart. That's most important. I cannot wait to talk to you guys in the next video. Until then, bye.